know President Trump 2025 achievements from January 20th through September 30th? What major government department did President Trump sign an executive order directing its closure and dismantling in an action opposed by various groups, including educators and the NAACP? A. Department of Energy. B. Department of Education. C. Department of Labor. D. Department of Housing and Urban Development. B. Department of Education. Which term did the Trump administration seek to limit or avoid in federal agency publications as part of an anti-woke crusade? A. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. B. Transparency. C. National security. D. Infrastructure. A. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. In early 2025, the Trump administration took executive action regarding the Affordable Care Act. What was a key rollback mentioned in the actions? A. Expand essential health benefits requirements. B. Eliminate essential health benefits. C. Extend the Affordable Care Act enrollment period. D. Increase funding for Affordable Care Act outreach. B. Eliminate essential health benefits. What unique, major weapons system did President Trump reportedly warn Russia he might send to Ukraine if the conflict was not settled soon? A. Patriot missile system. B. Tomahawk missiles. C. F-35 fighter jets. D. Abrams tanks. B. Tomahawk missiles. An executive order in September addressed a popular social media platform. What was the action? A. Mandated sale of X to a U.S. company. B. Banned TikTok. C. Approved a divestiture framework for TikTok. D. Imposed new tax on Instagram advertisements. C. Approved a divestiture framework for TikTok. Which controversial name was authorized by executive order to be used as a title for the U.S. Department of Defense, DoD? A. Department of Border Security. B. Department of War. C. Department of International Investigations. D. Department of Engagement. B. Department of War. What emergency was declared in August via executive order in the District of Columbia, accompanied by measures like ending cashless bail? A. Economic emergency. B. Infrastructure emergency. C. Public health emergency. D. Crime emergency. D. Crime emergency. What trade policy action, modifying a prior system, did President Trump's September executive order address, including the exemption of certain goods like critical minerals and pharmaceutical compounds? A. Implement new free trade agreements. B. Reduce existing import tariffs to zero. C. Modify the scope of reciprocal tariffs. D. Withdraw from the World Trade Organization. C. Modify the scope of reciprocal tariffs. In an executive order aimed at strengthening the reliability and security of the U.S. electric grid, what type of action was reportedly taken in April? A. Nationalize all private power companies. B. Implement new security standards and regulations. C. Delay mercury and air toxic standards enforcement. D. Mandate 100% renewable energy by 2030. C. Delay mercury and air toxic standards enforcement. What action related to the World Health Organization, WHO, was taken via executive order on January 20, 2025? A. Increase U.S. financial support to World Health Organization. B. Withdrawing the U.S. from the World Health Organization. C. Create permanent U.S. representative to the World Health Organization. D. Called for International World Health Organization Conference. B. Withdrawing the U.S. from the World Health Organization. The concept of Project 2025, which proposes a conservative overhaul of the executive branch, is associated with which think tank? A. Brookings Institution. B. Heritage Foundation. C. Cato Institute. D. Center for American Progress. B. Heritage Foundation. A reported executive order in March was aimed at addressing what type of research by ending federal funding for it in countries of concern? A. Artificial intelligence safety. B. Dangerous gain of function, germ, virus. C. Climate modeling. D. Space colonization. B. Dangerous gain of function, germ, virus. What action did President Trump take on January 20, granting relief to those convicted of offenses related to the events at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021? A. Pardons for those cooperating with law enforcement. B. Create special review of all cases. C. Commutations and pardons of all convictions. D. Order resentencing by federal courts. C. Commutations and pardons of all convictions. In one of the reported early executive orders, President Trump ended which requirements for government contractors? A. Affirmative action requirements. B. Minimum wage requirements. C. Environmental impact statements. D. Cybersecurity certifications. A. Affirmative action requirements. What was a key immigration element of the proposed Gold Card program established by a September executive order? A. If you were an individual, you had to give a $1 million gift. B. Provide free senior healthcare. C. Healthcare for women and children only. D. Expedite licenses for small businesses. A. If you were an individual, you had to give a $1 million gift. Which individual was reportedly named as a special government employee of the White House in early 2025? A. Jeff Bezos. B. Mark Zuckerberg. C. Tim Cook. D. Elon Musk. D. Elon Musk. What was the outcome of an April executive order on campus accountability for colleges and universities deemed hostile environments? A. Increase federal funding for all private universities. B. Withhold federal funding. C. Mandate 2-year tuition freeze. D. Establish new federal rating system. B. Withhold federal funding. Which long-standing social programs does Project 2025 propose to fundamentally change, including making Medicare Advantage the default option? A. Unemployment insurance and food stamps. B. Social Security and Medicare. C. Head Start and Pell Grants. D. Veterans benefits and federal employee pensions. B. Social Security and Medicare. Which country did an executive order on August 11, with specific focus regarding further modifying reciprocal tariff rates? A. Russia. B. Mexico. C. China. D. Canada. C. China. What was a key component of the Trump administration's America First Trade Policy Executive Order in January 2025? A. Remedies for the persistent U.S. trade deficit. B. Join Trans-Pacific Partnership. C. Eliminate the use of tariffs. D. Increase foreign aid. A. Remedies for the persistent U.S. trade deficit. Thanks for playing. How well did you do?